Welcome to Arts Talk. I'm Jennifer Boudreau.
And I am Bill Roberts.
And we have an exciting show with a new special guest that's joined us. This is Chatters. Chatters, say hi.
Chatters is pretty quiet, I find.
I do. I appreciate a silent co-host
And
at times, Bill.
he's got his eyes closed, Jen.
He does. So we're going to get into this a little bit
Yeah.
later, so we're going to save that. But we have a super exciting show. Who are our guests today,
We
Bill?
have Travis Suchuk, who is the gentleman who
The mastermind behind
put
Chatters.
Chatters together. And we also have Tanisha Parker Murphy, who is a photographer. But one of the interesting things that she does, just besides her photography, is she's a storm chaser and goes out and does photography.
I've always wanted to be a storm chaser ever since I watched Twister.
Yeah.
I thought it looked pretty cool.
So you want to go out and get yourself one of those special cars that are protected so that if you're out in a huge lightning storm, tornado or anything like that.
Exactly.
So what's new with you?
Well, this summer is going to be a little bit slower than last summer, so I think I'm going to spend the time sun tanning and maybe do a little bit of outdoor activities like hiking and stuff, so I'm pretty excited about that. What about you?
Well, now that I'm finished my one show, now we prepare for the Fringe Festival. So I go into rehearsals in May for the Fringe Festival.
Yes.
So that's my summer.
And
basically
I'll be at
getting
your
ready for that.
show, front
Excellent.
and center, judging everything that you do.
And heckling, as I'm sure you
Yes.
would like to do.
Yes. So if our viewers want to get in touch with us, how should they do that, Bill?
Artstalk.com is our website. So you want to check that out. And the other thing you want to do is email us. So if you do want to be a guest on the show, please email us at artstalkedmonton@gmail.com.
And follow us on Twitter at ArtsTalkTV.
You got it. And if you've got any events coming up, you can also email us about that as well, and we'll try and talk about that on the show. And the other one thing that we do want to mention, if you're a local filmmaker and you've got a trailer of a web series or something coming up, send us the trailer. We'll see if we can get that on as well.
Yes, and that was a great panel discussion we had on our last show. I'm still so excited about it.
I think it was a great discussion and talks a whole lot about what's happening with our film industry here in Edmonton.
Yeah.
All right. We'll be right back after this. And welcome back to Arts Talk. Chatters, I sure wish he would say something because he just stood back there so quietly this whole show.
He's a tough guest.
He is a tough guest to talk to, and he still hasn't opened his eyes.
He's kind of creeping me out a little bit.
So speaking of Chatters, we have with us Travis Suchuk. Travis is the man who put Chatters together.
Yes, I am.
So Travis, you've been a special effects artist for quite a few years now, and you've been involved in some pretty notable series. Fargo, you've worked with Rob Zombie, Hell on Wheels, Power Man 5000, Feed the Gods, the new series Winona Earp.
Yeah.
So you're a busy
Stargate.
man. Stargate.
Yep,
yeah.
I've done merchandise for them for years, so yeah.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about your background and why did you even get into this?
Well, that's a tough one. I've always wanted to, actually. It was I was just a small kid watching horror movies. Luckily, I had cool parents that kind of let me do that from a young age, and I ended up watching it, and they were like, "Oh, these are fake monsters, and this is all just somebody's job. They just are made, right?" And at that point, it clicked in my head, like, "That's a job? You could do that and get paid, really? Like that's a thing?" And at that point, I just never let it go, and still to this day.
That's awesome. So something like Chatters, like how long does that take you to build?
It depends. Like those kind of ones, usually a couple of months if I've got the time. I work on a lot of things at the same point too,
Okay.
so I don't usually get to put it in all at the same time. But on a film, you've got way less time. Film, as you know, is very demanding schedule, so you've got a couple of weeks a lot of times for a television show, and but you just kind of use it. I love the challenge that way.
Right.
Have you had a favorite project besides Stargate? I'm
Well,
sure.
Stargate was good. Yeah, I did enjoy all the stuff I did for that. I don't know. It's a really tough one. I find that there's new challenges in each show that you kind of you find you got to do something new that time. So that's kind of your favorite at that point. Working for Rob Zombie was really cool because I was a big fan growing up, and getting to work for one of your idols that way, doing that kind of thing is really cool. So.
And you've probably been told 1,000 times you do look like
I
Rob Zombie.
may have heard that a couple of times. Yeah, yeah.
What did you do for Rob Zombie?
I did actually. I worked primarily for his bass player. We were did a monster mask for him, and then created a custom. It was like a vampire outfit that he was in, and he had a custom bass guitar that was like a big cross with a spike on the end for vampires. And they opened the show. It's actually on their live Blu-ray too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Well, tell us about these other little friends that you brought
All
us.
right, that's Thor, which the alien there, and
The
I know
alien is
you're
Thor.
excited about that with your Stargate love.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Tar Man from Return of the Living Dead. Those are just some pieces that I had made for either just for sale or for clients, and yeah, we
So
do commissions.
do you get requests then from clients, say, other than say a TV show or a film? Do you get requests from people just to build something?
Yeah, like Ravenous Effects is my company. We primarily do the film end of things, but in between, when I've got the schedule permitting, I do commission pieces like that. So if somebody's interested in something that, whether it's a company or a lot of people, like the Chatterer is actually a client of mine's, that we created a bunch of things for them, and that one's kind of in a man cave setting where it's just a cool thing from one of your favorite films.
Right. So if you're working on a series, say like Fargo or Hell on Wheels, so they obviously will come to you and say, Travis, we have an idea for an effect, or we need something to look a certain way. How does that whole design process work?
Sometimes they come to you with what's in the script, and they're like, well, here it is in the script, how would you do this? And then you kind of break it down, figure out what's needed. On some stuff like Winona Earp, we did a lot of like unique pieces that they didn't have in the script. It would be something vaguely written there, like it's a demon whatever or magical this, and then I would do all the sketches and actually design it from the get-go, and then go and create the piece for the show, and it would kind of go through a bit of a process that way.
Did they have to approve the sketches? Like you'd give them a couple of different options and then pick their favorite?
I usually will field like a handful of sketches. I'll do a few pages worth at least, and then the director will go through it, and the showrunner and everything, and they'll kind of come to a decision, and the prop master as well, and it just kind of goes through those stages like that for most of the things we do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you just building props like Chatterers here, or are you doing the special effects like the injuries and the gore and stuff on the set
Yeah, we do like everything from the makeup special effects end. I'll take on that kind of stuff, but then also a lot of prop pieces like a rubber axe or something on the Fargo, for example. There was a character, Mike Milligan. He had this a gun rig on his arm with a hidden derringer, so he would do that old spring out the wrist like in Taxi Driver, and it would shoot out into his hand. And so even designing things like that, and different retractable knives and stuff as well. So
that's pretty cool. You must get to be so creative all the time.
it's like the least boring job in the world that way. It's always changing. You never do the same thing twice, really.
Do you ever, sorry, this is,
Go ahead, Jen.
do you ever create any of your own stuff, or is it always on order?
Yeah, it really depends. Like if I've got a chance to just go and make a piece for myself, or possibly just put it up for sale that way. When I get a chance, it's great to vent that kind of thing. Or like I'm working on a short film right now that I'm creating the creatures, and it's all kind of from my designs, and the director is just kind of letting me go for it on there, putting in some input, of course, but yeah, it's kind of just something out of my head on that, which is great.
So you end up spending a lot of time on set as well with some of these?
Yeah, it depends on the show. Some of it I've got to be there and kind of set it up or work with it, or kind of work with the actor on how to perform with it. And then some things, a lot of these shows, I'll just take them from Edmonton and FedEx them out to set, whether it's in Calgary or Los Angeles or whatever it is.
Oh, are any of them like animatronic?
We've dabbled some in that, but primarily we haven't gone too much in that. It's just usually it doesn't come up a whole lot, especially around here, the types of films that are being made. There's just there's not a whole lot of call for that.
So before we have to wrap up here, do you have anything exciting that's coming up that you can talk about that's not confidential?
Well, Winona Earp just premiered this week,
Yeah.
so that's exciting. We did a lot of different prop making for that stuff. Some really unique pieces. It's kind of it's a cool show. It's Wild West meets demons and monsters and all that stuff. So there's a lot of fun stuff there. And then an upcoming series I've got in the next bit here. Actually, I'm waiting later this month.
Excellent. Travis, thank you so much for being on our show and bringing Chatters along. And
Thanks for having me.
You know,
it's awesome.
He's been great. Like I said, I wish he would talk more.
Yeah, well, at least he's quiet, though.
All right.
I know you appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Travis. We'll be right back after this.
Welcome back. We have Tanisha Parker Murphy with us, and I'm so excited. She does one of my childhood dream jobs, which is storm chasing, and she creates these beautiful pictures while she's doing it. So tell me, how did you get into storm chasing?
I actually came across a funnel cloud in Saskatchewan one day, and I was hooked ever since.
Came across a funnel cloud. Isn't there a lot of funnel clouds in Saskatchewan?
Yeah, it was
during
my
the
first
summer?
one for me.
Wow, did it touch down? Were you just in a car? What happened?
I was just driving along Highway 16 and it came out. I don't think it touched down, but it was enough to make me learn how it happens. And
So your main background is really in photography. So were you doing photography before that?
a little bit. I started photography because my son, I have a 6-year-old son, and I wanted to take pictures of him, and I got into photography that way, and I kind of self-taught myself. And
Well, tell us quickly about this picture, and then I think we have some other pictures to look at as well. So the one that's behind us here.
that is what I call John Deere green. I was trying to get a picture with the Aurora and the tractor.
Yeah, it's a beautiful picture, and that is shot here out by Fort Saskatchewan, I believe you said. What time?
Yes.
What time was that at?
10:30.
10:30 at night.
I'll never forget it. I actually took 2 pictures, and the show was over, and I said, well, I guess my job is done here, and I went
Yeah.
home.
And the Northern
Wow.
Lights.
Yeah, you don't get a lot of time with the Northern Lights sometimes. They're
Yeah,
just
it was
so
the
fast.
strongest I've ever seen, and it was a adrenaline rush. So
Wow.
Well, let's take a look
Yeah,
at
let's
some
take
of
a
your
look at
other
what else
ones,
you've
and you
got.
can tell us what you've brought.
that is my house.
That's
Wow.
fantastic.
So that goes to show that I get the Aurora above my house. I basically just go outside and check and see if it's there, and if it is, I go out. If not, then I just sleep
That's
in.
awesome. It's not often you get the pink as well
Yeah,
as the green.
The colors are
Yeah.
amazing.
That is Rimbley, Alberta, I believe.
Wow. And again, you've got the Aurora in the back. So, this is obviously you're just shooting with a single camera. Anything in specific you're using for equipment-wise? You're just going out like this. Look at this one.
Wow.
Look at the way
That's
that
with my fisheye lens. That's the same lens that I used for the John Deere picture. That is on Old Barn on Range Road 221. That's
Oh, look at
Oklahoma.
that. That's where, sorry?
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
Best
My
storm.
that
goodness.
lighting. So when you're out trying to get these type of photos, like safety-wise, oh look at that. So, like we're about like obviously you're quite a ways from where that lightning is coming down. But have you ever been in a situation where you're trying to get a photo and the lightning is like really close? Like even look at the clouds on that one.
I try to stay away from underneath the cloud. That's mainly where the lightning's going to come from. It's different with every storm, so you need to know which positions. You need to be doing it safely. I won't leave the car if it's too unsafe. Even being in the car is kind of sketchy at times. So
So all these photos and things that you take, so do you put them on display? Do you sell them? What happens with that?
I have sold a couple to friends. I would like to put them on display one day.
Oh, they're on display here on our store.
Yeah. My John Deere picture seems to be the best hit one so far. So
I don't know. They were all pretty good. It's hard to choose.
Yeah.
Do you go to Oklahoma then on a regular basis for storm chasing to get some of these shots?
yeah, I've been twice. I would have loved to have gone again this year, but with the economy, I didn't think it was a great idea. So I'm going to do
Right.
a chase-cation at home now.
A chase-cation?
Wow.
That's
a
the
whole new
best.
term, yeah.
Yeah, so I'll be taking off 2 weeks to just chase around Alberta, and I will be back in Oklahoma next year.
So
That's
do
awesome.
you go on your own or do you go with a group of people? And
I'm going to be going with other Canadian chasers next year. So
wow.
That's crazy. And so what's the scariest thing that's happened to you while you're chasing?
this year we went to the Tilston, Manitoba tornado. I think that was July 22nd or 27th. We almost drove right into it. We lost radar, and it was rain wrapped from our view, and we almost drove right into it. But we were very cautious, and we didn't, luckily.
So obviously it's a very quick point and shoot, I would think. Like you're not having a lot of time to be changing lenses and getting yourself set for these kind of shots, I'm sure. Is it just like get out and get the shot and run back to the vehicle kind of
There's
thing?
kind of teamwork in the vehicle. You want to always chase with another chaser for that reason. Somebody to
Okay.
drive, somebody to look for radar. And
So you've got some backup,
Yeah.
for sure. So some of the photos that we just did look at, again, on the technical side, are you out shooting this handheld? Are you
Right.
putting tripod? Like how do you get those shots?
a little bit of both. We do a little bit of video, so we need the tripod for stabilization. A lot of it's by hand, but I have to,
Post is involved in it.
pardon
Like,
me?
how much editing and stuff do you do to the photos
Lots of
afterwards?
editing.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Actually, for example, this one, the only thing I really did edit out of it was some of the noise in the picture. So
Okay. What would noise be in a picture
just like little
this?
dots in the pictures.
So a little bit of pixelization that
Yeah,
maybe
the higher
Oh,
the
I see.
ISO, the more noise you'll get. So
Okay.
Right. Would you ever have any recommendations for anybody if, say, they wanted to go out and start taking pictures of storms, lightning, that kind of thing? Is there any
Don't
pointers?
go out chasing storms until you've done your research. It's a very dangerous hobby, so you have to learn. I mean, I can admit that I went out by myself when I first started. I didn't really see much because I didn't know what I was doing. So you really have to learn how to become a storm chaser before you actually go out there.
So it's best, it's best to find, obviously, go with somebody who's experienced and get some training from them and get a feel for how you do it.
And we're very willing to have people come along with us. So.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's neat.
Kind of like cannon fodder. So
Yeah.
bring people with you and then send them out to get the shots.
It's like
and
sending the
wait at a
rookie out.
safe
The green
distance.
person
Yeah.
goes out and does the first shot. So you talked about being in tornadoes and you know, the lightning and the thunder. Has there ever been a time, like you said, you've gotten scared, so has there ever been a time when you've just gone out to take the shot and you go, no, I can't do it. This is way too dangerous. I got to get back in the vehicle and we need to get out of here.
Yeah, we were storm chasing south of Fort Saskatchewan,
Right.
just lightning. You could smell the static in the air that day,
Oh, wow.
and we refused to get out of the vehicle because it would just been
Too much.
a death trap.
All right, Tanisha. Well, I really appreciate you being on the show, and great photos.
Thank you.
Look forward to
Thanks
seeing
for
what
having
else
me.
come out. You bet. Thank you so much. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Time to speak about some events.
Some exciting stuff coming up. Why don't you go
Do
first?
Do you like the Beatles, Jen?
Do I like the Beatles?
Do you love the Beatles, Jen?
Are they a band?
Well, they were a band and still probably one of the best rock bands out there ever.
Oh, then yes.
The Beatles, anyway, a tribute to the Beatles is coming to the Jubilee called Rain. So their tribute band, they'll be at the Jubilee Auditorium on Saturday, April 23rd at 8 p.m. So that should be a fantastic show for all you Beatle fans out there. And if you're a crafter, it is springtime. The annual Butterdome Spring Craft Sale is coming up in Edmonton, April 29th through May 1st at the U of A, the Butterdome, of course. So again, if you want to go out and buy some crafts or have an interest in that, I think that would be a great thing to
Oh,
go
fun.
see.
Is that like scrapbooking and
Oh, it's
that
everything.
kind of thing?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a mixture of everything that people make and hand make, and it's quite a large show, actually.
Fun.
What do you have
Well,
for us?
I have some also great events. So we had a previous guest on our show, Art After Dark, and so he's got a lovely class going on April 24th at the Pravada Wine Bar in St. Albert. And it starts at 3:30 p.m. and you'll get to create some beautiful art, and he'll take you through it step by step.
And the nice thing about that is we talked about to that particular guest, I draw stickmen, and he said that if I went to that class, I wouldn't be drawing stickmen anymore.
I would like to see that. I think we should accept that challenge.
I think it would be a really good challenge.
Yeah, and then my second guest, or well, event, is the Pretenders. They're going to be at the Arden Theatre in St. Albert also on May 20th, dishing out their brand of operatic comedy from 8 to 10 p.m.
I've heard they're awesome.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be a super fun show. And so that's one that I would definitely check out.
So you're going to make sure to get out there.
Sadly, I'll be out of town May 20th, but if I was in town, I would be there for sure. Go for me and videotape it.
Well, I should. Anyway, if you have an event for this section that you want to get on, make sure to send us a quick email. Check out our website, so artstalkedmonton@gmail.com, and we'll get the event on the show to make sure we get some promotion for you. We'll be right back after this. And welcome back. That was a fun show.
That was. It was super fun.
Chatters is still here
I think I'm going to smile like this.
for the rest. That's a great smile, Jen.
Thank you. I feel like you need a lot of teeth.
Yeah, well, I think so. And Chatters has a little bit of help there as well to make sure that we see his teeth. So, great guests, as
And-
always.
I loved these two that are down here, the aliens and the photography. My goodness, I wish we could just continue to flip through all of her photos.
Oh, for sure. So again, big thank you to Travis and to Tanisha for being on the show. Tanisha, great work again. Such a good photographer.
And remember, if you want to be a guest on our show, contact us at artstalkedmonton@gmail.com. And also, if you have any events that you want us to share, then please send them to us via email as well. Or you could even contact us on Twitter, @artstalktv.
You bet.
And we'll make sure that we get back to you.
And as I mentioned earlier as well, again, if you're a filmmaker out there, or you have an event or a trailer or something that you would like to get on the show, definitely send that to us as well, and we'll see if we can get that on the show.
We'd love to
The
have
more
it.
we can help promote our artists, the better.
Exactly, and hopefully we'll have an update eventually on the Film Commission as well.
I sure hope that we will, and I think we'll follow up with that and see what we can find out. And in an upcoming show, we'll give our audience an update.
Yeah, so what are you up to for the next little while?
Again, as mentioned earlier, right back into rehearsals for the Edmonton Fringe
Right.
Festival, and we'll prepare and get ready for that.
Is it the same play?
Nope, completely different show.
Oh, what show is this one?
This will be a show called Inner Voices.
Ooh.
Just a two-man show, actually. So it'll be fun.
Oh.
And you, quickly, before we have to say goodbye?
Well, I'm going to be prepping for watching your show.
I
And then just doing some work on our web series that we're starting to develop at Nordic Filmworks, which will hopefully be launching really soon.
Excellent. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.